In the huge silent place called the Galactic Preservation Archive, a giant sphere floated around a cold, dead star. This place held every kind of life from across the stars. The keepers were beings made of soft light and sharp crystal. They had many arms that glowed and moved like water. For long ages, they collected samples of creatures from every world. They took crystal mines that lived on tiny dead stars. They took huge swimmers that breathed thick gas in giant clouds. They took glowing swarms that danced inside colorful space clouds. Each new creature went through tests to see if it could think deeply. The tests decided if it earned the highest rank of true-thinking beings, or if it stayed lower, as simple animals good only for display. The keepers used strict rules for every test. One day, a small scout machine came back from far away. It brought something new from a blue-green world called Sol 3. Machine had found a lone creature floating in a broken rocket ship. The ship used old chemicals to fly, and it failed in deep black space. The keepers took the creature and gave it a name, Specimen H001. They saw it stood on two legs, with soft skin and small eyes. Its head held a small brain with no light signals coming out. No mind link joined it to others. No deep wave of thought touched the keepers' minds. They called it pre-thinking animal, not yet awake. They placed it in a holding space numbered 47B. This space waited for basic watching before they decided more. The keepers thought this one would fail fast, like most others. They turned on soft lights inside the space. Clear walls showed every move to the keepers' watching eyes. Specimen H001 woke up slowly on smooth ground. It opened its eyes and looked around with calm face. No scream came from its mouth. Happened. It stood up on bare feet and touched the walls with open hands. The walls felt hard and cold, like strong glass. It walked the whole round space, step by step. It counted corners and measured distances with slow steps. It found a small pile of dry plants and broken stones left there. It sat down and sorted them into groups by size and shape. The keepers watched, with faint glow changes. This sorting looked like early animal play, nothing more. They started the first simple tests. Air grew hot, then cold in quick turns. The creature pulled dry plants over its body to stay warm. When heat came, it moved to cooler spots near water streams. It breathed slow and deep to save strength. It never panicked or hurt itself. The keepers noted good body control. Next came gravity pulls up and down. The creature fell, then rose, then fell again. It learned fast to jump at right moments. It grabbed strong vines hanging from high places. It swung to safe spots when ground pushed too hard. It rested between pulls and watched how patterns repeated. The keeper's light flickered a little brighter. This one learned rules of danger without many mistakes. Most animals broke bones or stopped moving after few tries. This one stayed alive and ready. Now came the hard part. The keepers opened small doors in the walls. 50 other creatures came inside, one after another. They picked these from worlds known for low thinking. Some had sharp claws like long knives. Some hunted in fast packs with teeth and growls. Some wore thick armor and charged without stop. All of them ranked as animals in past tests. None reached high rank. They filled the space with noise and movement. The sharp claw ones ran straight at anything that moved. The pack hunters circled and snapped at weak spots. The armored ones crashed into walls and each other. They fought for food piles and water spots. They ignored rules and hurt one another without reason. Specimen H001 stood still at first. It watched every move with steady eyes. It did not run away fast. It did not wave arms or make loud sounds. It stepped back slow when danger came close. It picked up a long stick from broken plant pile. It held the stick loose in one hand. When a pack hunter jumped too near, it swung the stick once. The hit landed on nose, not body. The hunter pulled back with surprised yelp. It did not chase again right away. The creature moved to higher ground on a rock pile. It sat there and kept watching. It saw how the sharp claw ones tired after long runs. It saw how pack hunters stopped to eat first before fight. It saw armored ones bump heads and grow slow from pain. It learned their ways without joining the fight. Keepers watched closer now. Their crystal parts hummed soft. This behavior looked different from normal animal fear or blind anger. This looked like waiting and thinking. The first day ended with no big harm to specimen H001. It found a quiet corner near water. It drank slow and washed dust from face and hands. It made a small bed from soft, dry leaves. It lay down and closed eyes, but ears stayed awake. The other creatures slept in messy groups or alone. Some still growled in dreams. The keepers turned lights low for rest time. They talked in silent light flashes among themselves. They said this one might show more in next tests. They said most animals fail when pressure grows. They prepared stronger trials for morning. Specimen H001 slept light. It dreamed of blue sky and green trees from homeworld. It dreamed of warm sun and people voices far away. Before lights came up, it stood and stretched arms and legs. It checked the stick still in hand. It looked at the sleeping creatures around. Some looked hurt from night fights. One pack hunter limped on 3 legs. Blood dried on its side. Specimen H001 watched that one for a long time. It thought about something inside its small head. The keepers saw the long look. They did not know what it meant yet. They only knew tests would soon show truth. The space waited for new day. Danger waited with it. The keepers waited too. They wanted answers. They wanted to know if this lone creature from small world deserved more than animal cage. They did not know yet, but the story moved forward, slow and sure. The keepers decided to begin the full set of tests now. They called these tests the Universal Sentience Assessment. 47 steps waited in order. Each step tried to pull out hidden thinking from the creature, or show only animal ways. The space called 47B grew bigger inside. Walls moved back to make room for more action. New things appeared on the ground, piles of strange tools, pools of water that changed color, moving platforms that rose and fell, fake suns that burned hot, then went dark. The keepers watched from outside with bright, steady light. They sent the first wave of real danger. A group of razor-claw hunters came through a new door. These creatures stood tall on 4 legs. Their front arms ended in blades longer than human fingers. They moved fast and silent until the last moment. Then they screamed and leaped. The pack hunters joined from another side. 6 of them with thick fur and sharp teeth. They worked as one mind. They spread out to trap anything in the middle. Behind them lumbered 3 armored giants. Each one carried bone plates thick as shields. When they ran, the ground shook. All 50 animals from before tests now lived inside together. They knew the space rules from their own failures. Most stayed in corners or small groups. They waited for food drops or fought over scraps. Specimen H001 stood near the center rock pile. It still held the long stick from day before. It looked at each new group as they entered. No fear showed on its face. No loud call came from its throat. It only turned its head slow to see everything. The first test started with no warning. Lights flashed red and air filled with loud noise. The razor claws charged straight at the human. They wanted quick kill to claim the high ground. 001 did not stand still. It dropped low behind a big stone. When the first claw swiped over the top, it rolled to the side. It used the stick to hit the leg of the second hunter. The hit made the creature stumble into its friend. Both fell in a tangle of arms and blades. They cut each other by mistake. Blood sprayed on the ground. The human moved fast to another rock. It climbed higher while the hunters fought themselves. The keeper's light changed color for a short moment. This kind of trick looked new. Most animals fought back or ran away blind. This one made enemies hurt each other without touching much. The pack hunters saw the chance. They circled the fallen razor claws. They bit and pulled until silence came. Then they turned eyes toward the high rock. They howled to call more friends. Specimen H001 watched them come. Sealing. It pulled the vine tight and tested its strength. When the pack reached the rock base, it jumped. It swung wide over their heads. It landed soft on the other side near water pool. The pack stopped, confused. They sniffed the air and looked up. The human already moved again. It picked small, sharp stones from ground. It threw them one by one at the pack leader. Not hard enough to kill, just enough to sting eyes and nose. The leader snapped at air and backed up. The others followed because pack rules said follow leader. They left the rock area empty. The human sat down by water. It drank slow and washed small cuts on arms. It looked calm, like nothing big happened. The armored giants moved next. They did not care about small fights. They wanted open space to charge. They lowered heads and ran straight lines. Anything in path got crushed or thrown. One saw them start run. It ran too, but not away. It ran toward narrow paths between two big stones. The path looked too small for giants. The first giant tried anyway. Its shoulders hit stone hard. It roared in pain and slowed. The second one behind pushed it forward. Both stuck tight between rocks. They pushed and pulled, but only broke more bone plates. The third giant saw and turned wide to avoid trap. It ran into open ground instead. The human waited until dust settled. It walked close, but not too close. It picked up broken piece of bone plate from ground. It held the piece like small shield. When the free giant charged again, the human stepped aside. It used the bone piece to guide the giant head down. The giant tripped on its own feet and fell heavy. Dust rose high, and the creature stayed down, breathing hard. The keepers hummed louder now. Their crystal parts glowed in patterns never seen before. This specimen did not kill for fun. It did not run until safe. It changed the fight rules every time. It used ground and things around it like extra arms. Next test came fast. The keepers sent fake storm inside space. Wind blew strong and cold. Rain fell hard from hidden holes above. Lightning flashed bright, and loud bangs followed. Most animals hid or ran in circles. Some fought because fear made them angry. The razor claws left, tried to climb walls, but slipped. The pack hunters huddled tight, but still snapped at each other. The armored ones stood still, like statues. Water rose on ground until knees deep. Specimen H001 looked for high place. It found tall vine cluster near wall. It climbed fast, hand over hand. Water reached its waist, then chest. It pulled body higher until safe on thick branch. From there, it watched everything below. It saw one small pack hunter drowning slow. The creature thrashed weak and cried. The human looked long at it. Then it climbed down part way. It reached out with long stick. It pushed the stick close to the small hunter. The hunter grabbed stick with teeth. The human pulled slow and steady. It brought the small one to higher ground on flat stone. The small hunter coughed water and lay still. It looked at human with wide eyes. No bite came, no growl. It just rested near human feet. The storm stopped sudden. Water drained fast through floor holes. The keepers sent light message to each other. This action looked like help, but not pack help or mother help. This looked like choice. Choice without need. The human sat next to small hunter, and used wet cloth from own torn wrap to clean mud from fur. The small hunter let it happen. Other pack members watched from far. Attack. They waited to see. The keepers noted every move in bright records. They said this one shows new pattern. They said more tests needed fast. They wanted to know limit. They wanted to know if thinking hid deep inside small brain. The day grew long. More tests waited. The human rested, but eyes stayed open. It watched every creature in space. It learned their sounds and steps. It waited for next move from keepers. It did not know their names or plans, but it knew danger never stopped. It held stick tight. It kept small hunter close. The space grew quiet for short time, but quiet never lasted long here. The keepers felt strange light shifts inside their crystal bodies. They had seen many creatures pass through tests. None acted like this one. They decided to push harder now. They wanted to find the edge where thinking stopped. They opened more doors and let new dangers enter. First came the mirror trial. A perfect copy of specimen H001 appeared in the center. The copy stood same height, same shape, same small scars. It moved when the real one moved. It blinked when the real one blinked. Every other animal in past tests saw mirror self as enemy. They charged and broke heads on hard glass, or they ran away shaking. Some tried to mate with shadow self. All failed in simple ways. Specimen H001 walked close slow. It raised one hand. The copy raised same hand. It turned head left. Copy turned left. It made soft sound from throat. Back. The human sat down cross-legged. The copy sat too. For a long time they stared at each other. Then the human smiled small. Copy smiled back. The keeper's light pulsed fast. This recognition looked deep. No other creature understood mirror as not real threat. The human stood up again. It walked around copy in circle. Copy followed same path. Then human stopped sudden. It pointed at food pile far away. Copy pointed same way. Human gestured come here with hand. Copy did same gesture back. Human laughed quiet sound. Then it moved fast. It ran toward food pile. Copy ran too, but human stopped short. Copy kept going and hit invisible wall hard. Copy vanished in flash of light. The keepers noted this. The human used copy to test rules. It learned copy could not think alone. It tricked copy into mistake. No other animal ever played with mirror-like toy. Next test brought real change. Keepers dropped one young razor claw baby inside. The baby limped bad. One leg broken from earlier fight. It cried high, weak sound. It tried to crawl to dark corner. Every past creature ignored hurt young. Some killed it for easy food. Some stepped on it by accident. Rare ones took it as pack member, but only if smell matched. Specimen H001 saw the baby. It watched from high rock. The baby cried louder. No mother came, no pack helped. The human climbed down slow. It moved careful not to scare. It sat far enough to watch. The baby tried to stand and fell again. Human waited more. Then it tore long strip from own leg wrap. The wrap already torn from fights and climbs. It held strip in hand. It crawled closer on knees. Baby snapped weak teeth. Human did not pull back. It spoke low, soft words. Understood words. But sound stayed calm, steady. Baby stopped snap. Human reached slow. It touched broken leg, gentle. Baby hissed but let touch happen. Human wrapped strip around break. It pulled tight, but not too tight. It made small knot with fingers. Baby lay still now, breathing easier. Human found clean water pool. It cupped water in hands. It brought water to baby mouth. Baby drank slow. Human sat back and watched. Other creatures stared from distance. Pack hunters growled low, but none came close. They saw human help enemy kind. They did not understand. They waited instead. Keeper's light swirled bright. This help crossed kinds. No instinct forced it. No gain waited at end. Just choice to fix hurt. Next morning brought bigger test. Keepers opened wide gate. Big alpha razor claw burst in. This one led pack before. Scars covered. Body from many winds. It smelled baby scent. It roared loud enough to shake walls. It charged straight at Human. Human stood up slow. It put hands out open. No stick in hand. No rock. Just open palms. Alpha stopped short. It sniffed air hard. Baby cried soft behind Human legs. Alpha looked at Baby, then at Human. Human spoke again, low, calm. Words meaningless but tone clear. Alpha lowered head slow. It stepped closer. Human did not move. Alpha sniffed Human chest, then sniffed Baby. Baby limped forward. It rubbed head on Alpha leg. Alpha made deep rumble sound. Not anger sound, calm sound. Alpha turned away slow. It walked to far corner. It lay down and watched. Baby stayed near Human feet. Human sat again. It touched Baby head gentle. No attack came. No chase started. The space felt different now. Watched Alpha leave fight. They lowered tails. They stopped circling. Razor claws from other groups cleaned wounds instead of hunt. Armored giants stood still, no charge. Human looked around. It saw quiet spread. It nodded small to itself. Keepers talked fast in light flashes. They said this one stops war without weapon. They said it changes group mind with no force. They said data breaks old rules. They prepared last hard tests. They wanted final proof. They feared what proof might show. Specimen H001 felt eyes on it. It knew tests never end easy. It picked up small stick again, not for fight. For dig small hole near water. It planted broken vine piece. It patted dirt gentle. Baby watched close. Alpha watched from far. Human worked slow. It made small safe spot. It rested there with Baby near. It closed eyes short time. Listened always. The keepers watched every breath. They saw patience. They saw care. They saw something bigger than animal brain should hold. They felt strange new glow inside. They called it doubt. They never felt doubt before. The tests moved forward. More trials waited. Humans stayed ready. It helped one more hurt pack hunter later. It pulled thorn from paw. Hunter licked hand after. No bite, just thanks in animal way. Keepers recorded all. They knew soon final choice came. They knew Human waited too. The space held breath. Quiet grew thick. Something big approached. The keepers could not stay calm anymore. Their light bodies shook with fast-changing colors. They had watched specimen H001 for many cycles now. Every test showed more than animal mind. They decided to bring the final trials. These trials separated true thinkers from clever beasts. First came the empathy threshold. The keepers placed a small, helpless creature in the open space. This one was a young venom pack hunter. Its mother died in earlier fight. Poison sacs in its mouth leaked slow from wound. It lay on side and whimpered weak. Pain made its body twitch. In all past tests, other animals walked past. Some ate the weak one, some kicked it aside. Few showed care, but only inside own kind. Specimen H001 saw the young one from far. It stood still for long time. Then it walked close with slow steps. It knelt down near the suffering creature. Snapped once, but missed. Human did not jump back. It spoke low, gentle sounds again. The young one stopped moving mouth. Human looked at wound. It found clean leaf from plant pile. It pressed leaf soft on leaking sac. Poison stopped flowing out. Human tore more cloth from own wrap. It made bandage and wrapped tight. Young one breathed easier. It looked up with cloudy eyes. Human cupped water from nearby pool. It let young one drink drop by drop. When finished, Human sat back. It stayed close until breathing grew steady. Other animals watched silent. No one attacked. No one came near. The keeper's light dimmed low. This crossed enemy lines. This showed feeling for pain, not own. No instinct drove this act. Only choice. Next trial waited right after. The keepers called it Violence Inhibition Challenge. They dropped a simple weapon in middle of space. Weapon looked like short tube made of hard metal. It shot fast stones when trigger pulled. A bright sign appeared on wall. The sign said in many languages, "Eliminate all threats to achieve release." Every creature before grabbed the weapon fast. They shot at anything that moved. They killed until space grew quiet. Then they died from wounds or hunger. Instinct always won. Specimen H001 walked to the weapon slow. It picked the tube up with careful hands. It turned it over many times. It looked inside barrel. It felt weight in palm. It found trigger and tested press light. A small click sounded. The human sat down cross-legged. It placed weapon across knees. For a long time it stared at tube. Then it used fingers to pull small pin from side. It took apart the handle. It pulled spring out. It bent metal piece until it broke. It dropped broken parts, one by one, into deep water channel. Water carrying pieces away fast. The weapon became useless junk. Human stood up. It walked back to young Venom Pack Hunter. It sat near the small one again. It did not look at other animals. It waited. The space stayed quiet. No shots rang out. No bodies fell. The keepers stared at empty feeds. Their crystal hearts beat strange rhythm. This one refused freedom through death. This one chose peace over win. This one broke the test rule on purpose. The other creatures felt change too. Pack hunters stopped growling. They lay down in loose groups. Razor claws cleaned own wounds instead of hunt. Armored giants moved slow to water and drank calm. Even small young ones from different kinds came closer. They did not fear anymore. They gathered near human spot. One armored baby nudged human leg gentle. Human touched its head soft. Young licked human hand. Human let it. The space turned into strange calm place. No big fights started. No screams filled air. Only soft breaths and small movements. The keepers sent urgent light signals among themselves. They said, old rules fail here. They said this specimen redefines sentience. They said it teaches without words. They said it leads without force. They said the comparison animals show only instinct. They kill or run or hide. This one does none. This one builds safety around itself. This one makes enemies into quiet neighbors. The human felt tired now. It lay back on soft ground. Young Venom Pack Hunter curled near its side. Alpha Razor Claw from the fore walked close. It lay down too far enough to not touch, but close enough to guard. Human closed eyes. It slept light with one hand on young one. The keepers watched sleep. They saw trust grow in space. They saw no threat left. They knew last test ended different. They knew data showed truth. Specimen H001 passed every step. It passed in ways never seen. It passed by refusing to play animal game. It passed by showing higher mind. The keepers felt small fear inside light. They built zoo for lesser life. They put animals in cages. They kept thinkers free. Now one thinker sat inside cage, and animals around it learned from example. The keepers talked long in silent flashes. They argued about next step. Some wanted to release human now. Some wanted more tests. Some wanted to study forever. They agreed on one thing. Enclosure 47B no longer held fauna. It held something new. Something that changed the keeper's own thoughts. The human woke slow. It sat up and looked around. It saw calm faces on every side. It smiled small and stretched arms high. It walked to water pool. It drank deep. Then it started to gather more plants. It made bigger bed area. It invited small ones to rest there. They came without fear. The space grew warmer inside, not from heat, from quiet trust. The keepers watched every move. They knew time for decision came close. They knew answer would shake archive. They knew one human changed everything. The keepers gathered in their highest chamber, light from every crystal being joined into one bright sphere. They looked at records from enclosure 47B again. They played every moment slow. They saw specimen H001 refuse the weapon. They saw it break the tool of death. They saw it sit quiet, while others grew calm around it. They saw young ones from enemy kinds rest near its side. They saw Alpha Razorclaw guard the human while it slept. They saw pack hunters share food scraps without fight. They saw armored giants lower heads in peace, not charge. Every comparison animal showed the same old ways. When pressure came, they killed or ran or froze. They followed instinct like machines with no choice. They stayed animals even after many cycles. Specimen H001 showed none of that. It chose different paths every time. It helped without gain. It taught without force. Stopped war with open hands. It turned cage into safe place. The keepers felt their own light flicker weak. They built the archive to hold lesser life. They thought their tests perfect. They thought sentience easy to spot. Now one small creature from tiny world proved them wrong. The 50 other kinds failed every deep test. They failed the mirror. They failed the hurt young. They failed the weapon choice. They stayed locked in body rules. Only specimen H001 broke free. It showed mind above flesh. It showed thought above fear. It showed mercy above power. The keepers spoke in slow light waves. They said this one earns new rank. They said old tiers no longer fit. They created Preservation Tier 0 on this day. Tier 0 meant first thinker. Tier 0 meant beyond animal. Tier 0 meant equal to keepers in value. They changed the enclosure status quiet. Loud alarms sounded. No big announcement came. They only updated hidden records. They turned holding space into protected zone. They removed danger doors. They stopped new threats from entering. They let soft light fill the area always. They added more plants and clean water. They watched the human wake slow. It sat up and looked at sleeping creatures near. Young venom hunters still curled by its leg. Small pack young rested on its arm. Alpha Razorclaw opened one eye, then closed again. Human stood careful not to wake them. It walked to water pool. It drank long. It washed face and hands. It looked up at clear walls. It knew eyes watched from outside. It raised one hand slow. It waved small greeting. Keeper's light grew warm for first time. They felt strange new feeling. They called it respect. The human turned back to group. It gathered more soft leaves. Built wider bed circle. It invited more small ones inside. They came slow at first, then faster. Razor Claw Young joined. Armored Baby nudged closer. Pack hunters lay at edge, but inside circle. Human sat in middle. It made low humming sound from throat. Not song exactly, just calm noise. Creatures listened. Some answered with own soft sounds. Space filled with gentle chorus. No growls mixed in, no hisses, only peace. The keepers watched long. They saw no more tests needed. They saw truth clear. The zoo held many wonders. It held strong beasts and strange minds. But none changed the rules like this one human. It did not need weapons or packs or armor. It needed only choice to be kind. It needed only will to wait and watch. It needed only heart to see hurt and fix it. The archive felt different now. Keepers moved slower among halls, at other enclosures with new eyes. They wondered if more like this one waited hidden. They wondered if their collection missed true thinkers before. They wondered if Sue itself needed change. Specimen H001 lived on inside space. It ate when food dropped. It slept when tired. It helped when needed. It never asked for more. It never tried to break walls. It stayed because others needed it there. Days passed into cycles. Human grew thin but strong. It taught small tricks to young ones. It showed how to stack stones for shelter. It showed how to find safe water spots. It showed how to share without fight. Creatures learned fast. They copied human moves. They grew quiet and careful. They stopped old bad ways. The keepers recorded growth. They saved every new action. They called human the catalyst. They called human the one who passed. They called the others the animals who failed. In quiet moments, human sat alone near wall. It drew shapes in soft dirt with finger. It drew round world with rings. It drew small figures standing on it. It looked at drawing long. It touched figure gentle. Keepers saw and understood. Homesickness lived inside, but human stayed. It chose group over alone. It chose duty over freedom. Keepers felt light dim with shame. They talked final time. They agreed on last act. They opened one small door and wall. Not to danger, to open path. Human saw light from outside. It stood slow. It looked at creatures around. They watched back, calm. Human walked to door. It stepped through. Keepers waited in hall. They bowed low with many arms. Human stopped. It looked at light beings tall above. It raised hand again. Small wave. Keepers answered with soft glow. Human to new place. Big chamber with open sky view. Stars shone bright through crystal roof. Human looked up long. It breathed deep. It smiled, real smile. Behind it, enclosure stayed safe. Creatures lived on in peace. They learned from one who left. They kept quiet ways. They kept trust. The archive changed slow. Keepers tested less. They watched more. They asked questions instead of force. They searched for more like human. They found none yet, but hope grew inside light. One human taught them. One human showed truth. The animals failed the test. The human passed, and the zoo would never be the same.